The NHL Draft Lottery is just concluded. We're going to review the results, who got the first and second overall picks in the draft, plus we're going to complete a mock draft for the first 16 selections. A lot coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, the NHL Draft Lottery for the 2023 NHL Draft has just completed. So we're going to go over the results, and then we're going to complete a mock draft here in just a few moments. So here's a quick recap, though, of the odds for tonight. Of course, teams like the Anaheim Ducks had the absolute best odds, followed by the Columbus Blue Jackets, Chicago Blackhawks, and so on, as you can see on the graph here on the screen. So the big winners in the 2023 NHL Draft Lottery ended up being the Chicago Blackhawks. The Blackhawks will have the right to select first overall and select Connor Bedard. What a franchise-altering moment for them, certainly, as guys like Jonathan Toews and Patrick Kane exit the organization. Now they're going to have another chance as another top six franchise. Now they're going to have another chance as an original six franchise to draft first overall and kind of start all over again with another franchise generational player. So obviously the Anaheim Ducks and the Columbus Blue Jackets both moved down. The Ducks will end up picking number 2, though. They did get that draw to go their way. Fortunately, they didn't move down 2 spots, which was certainly a possibility. So the Blackhawks and the Ducks are basically our 2 winners. The Blackhawks being by far the bigger winner, though, going up to number 1. So now let's jump into the mock draft. I'm going to give you my thoughts on where these players are going to go. We'll start the mock draft with first overall Chicago Blackhawks. There's no doubt Connor Bedard will be their selection, leading the WHL in scoring. He's had 134 goals in 134 games throughout his junior career, 2-time World Junior Championship gold medalist. This guy is going to be a franchise-altering generational type player. I know obviously teams like the Ducks and the Jackets, who are also right up there with some of the best odds, are probably greatly disappointed. Not that they're not going to get themselves a really good player, but there's absolutely no doubt Connor Bedard will be transforming the Blackhawks into a much better team starting as early as next season. Selecting second overall, we have the Anaheim Ducks. There's no doubt they'll be taking center from the University of Michigan, Adam Fantilli, who's really not a bad prize for second overall. I mean, yes, Bedard is a special player, and obviously at this point, it looks like he's going to be head and shoulders above everybody else, but we'll see how that works out over time. But Fantilli, it looks like he's going to be really good in his own right. He's going to join a young group of players in Anaheim, like Trevor Zegras, Mason McTavish, Troy Terry, Jamie Drysdale, and others that are building something special there in Anaheim as well. Fantilli likely plays another year of college hockey, but that's not, I don't think, a guarantee at this point. I don't believe we know that 100%. Either way, the University of Michigan product will be a terrific addition to this young core of the Anaheim Ducks. Selecting third overall, we have the Columbus Blue Jackets, and they're actually likely going to take a U.S.-born player here, Will Smith. There's been a lot of time here that Leo Carlsson out of Sweden's been the consensus number 3 pick, but there's a lot of reports lately indicating that the Jackets have been watching Smith closely at the recent international tournament and really are impressed and seem to be leaning towards him being their selection. Now, I've seen Aaron Portzline, the athletic beat writer for the Jackets, write articles, kind of talking about this possibility that Smith very well could be the guy. He's been a high-rising player on the draft board this year, a very, very talented guy who's really made huge strides this year. So I can see the Blue Jackets going in this direction and taking Will Smith, who they is likely going to play some college hockey for a while, but that's okay. They'll be patient and wait for him here. The fourth overall selection goes to the San Jose Sharks, and they will definitely take Leo Carlsson after having him kind of fall in their lap with the Jackets taking Will Smith. I think either way, Will Smith is very likely going to be the 3 or 4 overall selection, but Leo Carlsson is a terrific young Swedish centerman that can also play wing. He's got the size and strength, like he should be able to be a centerman at the NHL, but only time will tell. The Sharks certainly need, in my opinion, a little bit of everything on that roster, so there's no doubt at this high of a pick, they're going to go with best player available. Leo Carlsson falling in their lap certainly qualifies as such. It would be an excellent pickup here for San Jose. The number 5 overall selection belongs to the Montreal Canadiens, and I have them selecting Dalibor Dvorsky. There was a point when it was looking more and more likely that they might use the pick to select Michkov out of Russia, but a lot of reports lately indicate that they are very, very high on Dvorsky, and they would be willing to take him depending on where they were in the draft. Maybe even if, if they were able to go higher than number 5. So Dvorsky, to me, is a real solid player. Certainly had a real solid showing at the World Junior Championships. He's 6'1", 200 pounds, so he's got a good size. Obviously, the Slovakian player here, to me, he might go directly to the NHL, but it wouldn't be shocking if he takes a year and either plays in the American League or plays overseas as a possibility as well. But, he's got some options here. But this guy could be a real solid two-way player to complement their top 6. It might be a great addition to the Habs lineup. Number 6 overall, we have the Arizona Coyotes, and I have them taking the Russian superstar Matvei MItchkov. If he's still there when they're picking at number 6, or if he happens to fall any further, then I don't see it going much longer than that. The Coyotes are a team that can be very patient. They can wait to 2 or 3 years. Obviously, they're in the process of trying to get a new arena. There doesn't look like they're concerned about being overly competitive for the next couple of years as they look to accumulate draft picks and prospects like him. So to me, they're one of the teams best positioned to be patient and let him put in his time in Russia and complete his contract and make the jump to the NHL later when they're hopefully ready to open a new arena, and he can be a big force there to help sell a lot of the tickets and get things going. But if the Coyotes have the option, Michkov isn't going to get past them, I don't think. At 7 overall, we have the Philadelphia Flyers, and I have them taking Zach Benson from the Winnipeg Ice. Now, Zach Benson can play all 3 forward positions, a very versatile, highly skilled player. Not huge. He's 5'10", about 160 pounds, just shy of 18 years old. Put up a ton of points this year in the WHL, 98 points in 60 games. So certainly, like I said, a very dynamic player. His team's still playing in their playoffs. They're a really strong team that does have a shot at a league championship and potential Memorial Cup appearance. So you get a lot to look forward to. But Benson, to me, makes a lot of sense here in Philly. They certainly need a bit of everything there in that team as well. But I think he would be a good complement to what they already have to build around with some of their other prospects like Connor Bedard, for example. Zach Benson's going to be more likely a winger. He's highly skilled, can score, and that's exactly what they need. At 8 overall, we have the Washington Capitals, and I'm going to say they're going to take the top defenseman here, David Reinbacher. So they're going to end the run of forwards being drafted here. Reinbacher, to me, more than likely is going to be the number 1 defenseman drafted in this group. Him and Sandin Pellikka are really the only 2 I think that have a shot at going in the top 15 or 16 picks, but obviously the Austrian-born defenseman had a real solid showing during his league play this year, as well as at the World Junior Championships. Washington, to me, is in a unique spot. This will be the first time picking this high in quite some time. To me, their back end needs more help than anywhere else on their team, and I think it makes sense based on what else is available that they grab this draft class's top defender in David Reinbacher. At 9 overall, we have the Detroit Red Wings, and I'm going to say they're going to select Ryan Leonard, another U.S.-born forward. Arguably, this draft class is possibly their best pure goal scorer. He's another guy that's moved up a lot in the draft this year. He's certainly been a high riser, been getting a lot of attention, obviously, for his ability to score. Not huge, 5'11", 181. He's going to be going to U.S. college hockey route, playing for Boston College. As early as next year, he'll be teammates with Will Smith. Like I said, who I have currently going in this draft, of course, to Columbus. So, obviously, a really terrific, talented player here. He put up a lot of points this past year, 94 points in 57 games, including over 50 goals. Like I said, pure natural goal scorer would be a terrific fit in that Detroit lineup in their top 6 here with the other young players they've already been able to add to their roster. 10 overall, we have the St. Louis Blues, and I have them taking another U.S.-born player, Gabriel Perreault. Now, Perreault, of course, is actually a dual citizen. He is one parent Canadian, one American. His dad's a former NHL player, Yannick Perreault, was a Quebec-born NHL player. Gabriel Perreault also going to be playing for Boston College. So another player committed going there. They got a lot of the top guys in this draft. He had a monster season, though, but he had 53 goals and 132 points in 63 games this year for the U.S. national U18 team. Perreault, to me, is just a really gifted player. Not huge, 5'11", 165. Different player than his father was, but I think he would be a terrific fit in St. Louis. I honestly don't think he's going to go much lower than this if he does get passed over. I think he's going to go somewhere between that 8 to 12 range, but he'd be a great pickup for the St. Louis Blues. They just lost Vladimir Tarasenko that they traded. he's going to be moving on. He could possibly be one of their next big goal scorers on the team. At number 11 overall, we have the Vancouver Canucks, and I have them taking a local product from Kelowna, Andrew Crystal. Now, Crystal's a smaller player, but extremely skilled, very talented player, 5'10", 165, plays normally on the left wing. He's just over 18 years old, actually really good friends with Connor Bedard, played for the Kelowna Rockets, put up 95 points this past season in 54 games. Like I said, he's probably one of the more highly skilled players in this draft, but that sometimes gets a little bit overlooked by some of the players ahead of him, like Bedard. But really, for a local product, I know Bedard himself probably would have loved to have been drafted by the Canucks. That's not going to be possible given where they're picking in the draft now, but it doesn't mean they can't take another local product here that could be a huge help to their team in Andrew Crystal. Selecting 12th overall, we have the Arizona Coyotes by way of the Ottawa Senators due to the Jacob Chychrun trade, and I have them taking Edward Shea. Now, to me, Shea is another player, a little bit of a wild card where he goes in this draft. I think he's going to go somewhere between 10 and 15. Shea has decent size, 6'1", 168 from the Czech Republic. Had a pretty solid World Junior Championship tournament. Had a pretty good season in Czechia as well. Overall, a pretty solid player who's going to be a great benefit here. Now, I think, of course, the Coyotes are picking twice in this draft on number 6 and then number 12. So I have them taking Michkov, who's a little bit of a different kind of player. Earlier, Shale's another complimentary piece who would fit well with that prospect pool and be a great selection here for the Coyotes. Next, we have 13th overall, which belongs to the Buffalo Sabres. I have the Sabres selecting Brayden Yager, who's a centerman from the WHL's Moose Jaw Warriors. He's 6 feet tall, 165 pounds, extremely talented offensive player. Put up 78 points, including 50 assists in 67 games played this year for the Moose Jaw Warriors. Appeared in the Helika Gretzky Cup as well for Canada's U18 team, putting up 9 points in 5 games. Had a good showing there. To me, Yager is another player that is likely going to go in that 10 to 15 range. The Buffalo Sabres are a pretty stacked team with young talent. So it's, at this point, you can be a little bit more selective on who you take. They have a good group already of forward defensemen, etc. So to me, I think another forward like Yager makes a good mix here for them, but they could go in a variety of directions. 14th overall belongs to the Pittsburgh Penguins. I have the Penguins selecting the next defenseman in this draft, Axel Sandin Pellikka. Now, depending on who you talk to, there's not a great deal of difference between Sandin, Pellikka, and Reinbacher as far as who's going to go the first defenseman, who's going to be the second defenseman. A lot of difference of opinions out there. Of course, Sandin Pellikka, the Swedish defenseman, a little smaller, 5'11", 180. Had himself a pretty solid season. Good showing at the World Juniors. I know that was a bit of a, coming out party for him, if you will, on a more international level. Played in the SHL this year. Had a real solid showing. Nothing but good things to like from this guy. I think he could be a real good puck-moving defenseman. And to me, Pittsburgh, if you take a look at where they're at, they've obviously still have a lot of their elite forwards locked up to longer-term deals. I think they need to work on the back end, and Sandin Pellikka could be a good start to that. Selecting 15th overall, we have the Nashville Predators. I have the Predators today taking Matthew Wood, a Canadian-born player in U.S. college hockey, playing for UConn, University of Connecticut. He's a center and a left winger, go either position. Put up 34 points in 35 games. Considering his age playing in the NCAA, to me that is a really solid result. He has the size and strength already of an NHL caliber player. He's 6'3", 190 pounds. Has a pretty good skill set here. To me, would be a nice mix for the Predators to take a serious look at here. Obviously, he's likely going to continue to play another year, maybe 2 of U.S. college hockey before he makes the jump to pro hockey here. But I think Wood would be a terrific addition to Nashville, who's certainly going through some changes and kind of retooling here. So to me, he fits well with their organization. The 16th overall selection belongs to the Calgary Flames, and I have them taking Colby Barlow. Barlow's another player who's been a fairly high riser here in the draft as the season's gone on. He's a 6'1", 187-pound left winger out of the OHL's Owen Sound team. Owen Sound themselves this year didn't have the greatest season, but they put up a good set of numbers. He scored 46 goals and 79 points in 59 games. Played for the Canada U18 team as well, scoring 3 goals in 6 games. So he's been a pretty impressive youngster, getting, obviously, like I said, moving up the ranks a lot. Obviously, he's obviously wearing the C for his team in junior already, which is also a telling tale of the leadership qualities that he brings to the table, not only his offensive skills to boot. So that is your NHL Draft Lottery results, and this is my mock draft, of course, the first one here, post-lottery results, to see where I think some of these players are going to go, and now that we know the actual draft order for the first 16 selections. Let me know your thoughts on the teams that won the draft lottery tonight. Let me know your thoughts on my picks for the mock draft, and we can discuss that further down in the comment section. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams, and of course, lots more coverage to come for the 2023 NHL Draft. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.